Hello everyone, it's Paula. How are you today? I hope you're having a great day. It's a little cloudy where I'm at, but yesterday was beautiful, so that made up for today. My husband and I went antiquing yesterday in a town called Ozark, Missouri, and they had this place where there's like 10 big antique malls all together in this one little section. We've been here since September, and we've only gotten through 1.5. Now, mind you, we've only been over there twice, but still, yeah. So I always manage to spend at least 100 just on little this and that's. And today I got a lot of old vintage lace. I bought a bag that had, buttons and some little lady's bag of goodies from her sewing basket. And I always love to do that because usually they'll throw them together. This one was $3 and it was a big Ziploc bag, and I got a lot. I was shocked. I was very pleased with that little haul. And I got these 2 books, and I got a couple bird books that were older. And I mean, there were other things. Oh, I got a big roll of tickets, which at some point I'll try to put in some of them at a very reasonable price in my Etsy shop. And, I mean, that's just a few of the things. I can't recall all of them, but, yeah, I got some old vintage jars for my kitchen and stuff like that. It wasn't all for my craft room, but... So, I wanted you to see these 2 because they're very old. This is Wildflowers of America. Okay, and you might think, this is like a 5 by 3 1/4 in size. So it's small. It's smaller than a large Project Life card. But it reminds me of the observatory books. And the really neat part about it is I love to take these sort of things and make journaling cards out of them. It's going to be hard because this book came from, I'm trying to remember if this is the one, 1932. It was copyright in 1932 in the USA. Jane Harvey. Yeah, so I couldn't resist getting this book. It was like $5. And I figured I could make quite a few journaling cards out of here. So that's what I'm going to do with these. And this book is a Western, it's called Western Side. Look at that spine. Now, you might think, how can anything in that book be worth anything? It's got a beautiful design on the cover. And I'm going to try to hang on to the cover or maybe do a very vintagey type book. And it has some writing on these very thin. They're not vellum, but they're real close to vellum pages. And then it has this inside page, which I think is cool. It is a Western Side or Lights of Sharon's minister's wife. So it's back in the Western times is where it's based out of. It's a book by a minister's wife. So it's not about one, it's written by one. Lights and Shadows of Western Parish, American Baptist publication out of Philadelphia. Okay, so but and entered according to the Act of Congress in the year 1950 or 1853 by the American Baptist publication. Huh. That's interesting. But anyway, so my husband said, well, what are you going to do with that? And I said, well, if the pages don't just rip, you know, or crumble, I'm going to use it as book pages to collage and do different things. And he goes, what? And I said, yeah. So I just took a page. I had intended to buy it. I had already decided, and bent it, and it doesn't crumble. And that assured me I was doing the right thing. So yeah, these were what I thought was really good finds. Okay, you know, we all have those sometimes. So right now I'm stitching on my second cover to make, I'll show you the first one. Now, I finished this cover, but you got to realize this one's already spoken for. This is my first slow stitch and my first cover that I have hand stitched from start to finish. Okay, so like I started with just the batting and a bunch of old fabric, but I wanted you to see how it turned out. And I might show you what it looks like when I finish, you know, putting the paper and stuff in. I really didn't intend on doing any, but look at all this old doily pieces and all this little stitching I did in here. And I hand stitched all the squares on the quilted look. This is the back with the doily and a flower from a doily and some lace. Yeah. And then I did a blanket stitch around it to sew this fabric on, which is the fabric I really liked. And so I'm going to put one big signature right there. And so I hand stitched these pockets on. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. So I'm doing another one that's in a, you know, it might have a couple of these fabrics. It has this fabric in it. And it has this pink fabric right here in it. And this white. But otherwise, it's pretty much different. No, and it has this green. But it's a different look. But it's going to be my next hand-stitched book. Now, I'm stepping out this time and doing some things different that, you know, you learn from the first book you make. For instance, the little bit of looseness right here, I didn't like, and right here. So I have since figured out how to take care of that. And it will not be like that in my second journal. And I would never hand stitch around a floral image on fabric again. I mean, it turned out fine. It's just, it took forever. Literally, probably over 2 weeks just working on this in the evening. Yeah. So that is the journal that's already spoken for. And so I just wanted to show it to you, how it turned out. Now, I plan on doing a lot of hand-stitched journal covers, especially this spring. I feel like people just like them much better. And, or at least that's the feeling that I get when it comes to those. So, you know, I've been doing all these ephemera things I'm making and everything, and I want to show you. I told you in a previous video. Now I got to find them. Hold on. If I can get my hands around them. Okay. The beginning of this is just to take care of a little bit of business. So I showed you a big stack of 26 Traveler's Notebooks that I told you I was going to make ephemera for and put in my shop. I'm not putting the kits together. I'm not putting the I'm not making the journals or anything like this. This isn't a kit or anything like that. It's just I had decided once to make a bunch of traveler's notebooks, and they just kind of sat there, and I would make one every now and then. So I decided to do a mass amount to get the covers ready for someone to put their paper in, which would only be 15 sheets is what I recommend. These are 8.5 by 4.5. And yeah, and in the back here, you'll see a package all nicely wrapped. It has like 5 or 6 different ephemera pieces that I made, and that will go with the journal that it's packaged with. So this is set 1, Traveler's Notebook cover and ephemera. Okay, and I'm going to list in my shop right now 6 of them. And that will go in my shop probably by the time you see this video, I would think. And let me know what you think about that idea. What I did is I took a picture of the cover for each one. I mean, they each have their own pictures to show you what's in each package. And I took a picture of the front cover. Then I took a picture of the Traveler's Notebook and the ephemera. And then I emptied the ephemera and showed you what it looked like with, you know, with a different... There's 2 pictures that go with each ephemera pack, and there's 2 to each book. So 1 pack, but 2 pictures plus an extra picture. So you're going to have 5 pictures per set. Now, I've showed you these before, but these are the ones that are going in my shop. The paper in these journals is Blue Fern. You know how good their paper is and awesome it is. And this is a perfect example right here. I love this one. This one is also Blue Fern. This is Stamperia. So Blue Fern and Stamperia are the main papers, okay? Stamperia. I meant to look this one up, but it's also a good paper. It's not one you hear of every day, and I can't get it off the tip of my lips, but isn't he precious, this little bird? Yeah, so there'll be 6 in there. We'll see how they do before I spend all the time making the ephemera for the others. I just thought people love getting things that are different than just buying a journal someone else made. A lot of people like to make their own journals. And so I decided, you know, they could bind it, fill it full of wonderful stuff, and it would be their own journal, okay? And none of the ones I'm putting in the shop are alike. So they're all completely different. And so you'll get to see some of the ephemera may be the same, but it'll be with different papers, okay? All right, so this is just an announcement on that. So the next thing I want to tell you is, let me think for a minute. I'm going to be doing some different kinds of ephemera, making different things out of different stuff. So the first thing we did was collage pockets, right? And so I'm going to show you. I told you I'd show them to you after I stitched them. And I got to tell you, we're going to decorate them. After we get everything made that I want to make in this little series, we will go back and decorate, okay? So I made about 6 little pockets for little traveler's notebook size pockets. So there's one that stitch. I just used a straight stitch. This is collaging with a lot of Tracy Fox and Taylor Made Crafts wallpaper. And I think they turned out really nice. And if you look, you can see the stitching. It's just a regular straight stitch on those. Okay. Now, and I made 5. I thought I made 6, But I made 5 of the big ones, so I may have to go back and make another one at some point, because I may sell these to a set. I don't know yet how it's going to be, but here is one that was done with Tracy Fox paper. And this is tailor-made journals paper. And these are all straight stitched right here. And then I did 2 with a zigzag. I was running out of thread, so I had to use straight stitch. And I wasn't sure I had any more, but I ended up finding more. So those will be ready for us to decorate at some point, okay? Then we did the envelopes that I saw on Crafty Cat. And she said she didn't do them originally. I've seen them. I've done them before. It's been a long time. So it's kind of like a blast from the past, right? Okay, my favorite one is this Peacock. Okay, this is made with a regular size envelope. You know, not a legal envelope, just a letter envelope. And it has a peacock. Opens out here. And then this is the inside. Now you can do whatever you want on the inside, and I decided that would be the best. So on this one, I folded it while it was still wet, which was not smart. And that's why I've got those little creases right there, just a tip for you. And so yeah, and I'm going to flip it over and show you the outside. Isn't this darling? I just love this peacock. On here, this is one sheet of 8.5 by 11. And so these really are the ones that you want to do if you want to do fast, you know, fast ones. Doing the paper separately, it takes longer, I've discovered. And so then you fold it up. There's a previous video on how to make these if you need to know, and how to do the slit in the front and so forth. So I ended up making 4. I think we did 2 together. So this is my favorite. Then here is another one that same size. And if you want to know the size of these, I'm going to tell you real quick. They are 6 1/4 by 3 1/2. 6 1/4 by 3 1/2. So I like this one too. Look at this scene. I just think it's beautiful. Now I put the paper on separately in these, and I just think it's harder to do that. Not harder, but more time consuming. And I don't know, you can just run into all kinds of things. There's this one with the buildings in the back. Okay, now this is opening this out here. And I did zigzag these also. And I did this inside as a solid piece. And I went ahead and did 2 stitches here to secure it. Okay. I recommend you do that and not do this separately for a big, this is my big reason why. Because I was putting on the separate sheets and so forth on this yellow rose one right here. And it kind of slit right here on one of the seams. And what do you do in a situation like that? You know, so it makes it harder to keep it strong and, you know, strong and together. And I think over time it will do better that way. Okay. Now what I did, because that happened, what I did was I ended up bringing washi into this one. And I just put it in random places, okay? It's not tearing where you see all these things. It's just, this is the inside. Right here was the actual tear. Here or here. And I just went ahead and used washi on several of them. This clear, it's a white polka dot. And, yeah. So that's the biggest reason I would not recommend doing each square separately when you decorate. That's just my opinion. Or you can collage and just cover over those seams when you collage, if you do, is what I recommend. But you can do them any way you want. It is your decision on how you do your crafts. Okay, and this is the last one, which I made this one out of TaylorMade Journals paper, wallpaper. And I liked the teapot. And it's really a coffee pot, but I'm calling it a teapot. And so, and it had blue strawberries, which I thought was cute on here. Now, this is a third paper right here. I hope this isn't glued. I thought I glued it shut for a minute. Nope, I didn't. So this is the inside here. And so you can see that it has the separate sheets as well, which, like I said, I wouldn't prefer that. And then here's the front. Yeah. So, here we go. I'm going to close this back up. Okay. There we go. Something I didn't tell you guys was I had my cataract on my left eye taken out on Monday, which was 3 days ago. Boy, is that a different thing to do. I had a little bit of pain through it because they didn't give me my IV medicine, and I think it was an error. Isn't that comforting to know? Anyway, but I survived, and when they took, I went back in the second day when they took the patch off my eye, and I covered up my bad eye. It was like a world of difference. Everything looked white and bright, and they say it will be even better in a week. I could see my husband's face without squinting, and then I covered up my good eye and looked out with my bad eye, and everything looked yellow and super blurry and like it had a film on it. I couldn't believe how much difference that made in one night. I am just thrilled. Now, putting all those little drops in is a pain, but you do what you got to do, right? 3 drops. 3 drops 4 times a day. You heard me. Okay. Now, I also did something off camera I never told you guys about. I was just kind of playing. I have some of my things I've made over time that I've taken pictures of and wanted to keep them, you know. Well, I pulled those pictures out. I don't have one in front of me, or I would show you. You know, like I pulled the pictures out of 2 tags that I liked. And I made them into tags all over again. So I want to show you those first. But the key was to use packaging. Okay, I used different kinds of packaging, such as, you know, this one here is Prima. I had a lot of Tim Holtz packaging. Here's some packaging. I didn't use it all, but I've been saving my packaging, is what I'm telling you. And they make really nice tags. I mean, really heavy duty. And then I added tea paper on the back of the ones that needed it, and other paper on the ones that didn't. Okay, so I'm going to show these to you. And you need to realize that these aren't dimensional like the originals. Okay, so this was, I'm going to show you the tag one first. So I had this bird, well, no, this is the tag one. I had 2 tags. This was one, and they were much bigger than these, okay? So, and here was the second one. I don't know if you remember those, but you can find a class on tags early on in my videos of these tags I made originally. I made them on cardboard, and all of this was dimensional. But I just cut them out and put them on some packaging and covered it and stitched around it. And I love them just as much. Here is this one. So I made 2 of those and 2 of these. I rounded all the corners on this one. Lots of fun. And then I had a glassine bag that I had put this bird on. And so I made a tag out of him and zigzag around. Now this was splattering and mixed media, and all of that was on this one. Here's another one of the birds. And this is a third one. I just printed them a couple times and was able to use them, and I have some tags now. And I think they turned out really well. Then I had a journal front. I did a journal for Tracy Fox once early on when I was designing with her. That was in purple. I don't know if you remember. But let me see if I can see how this went together. But it was like, I can't remember exactly which side was on which side. But this was the front of the book too. This, if you see, you can see that it was part of this right side. And I cut the big one out first. And you could see all the different things I had put on the front of that book. And then this was the leftovers of cutting that out. And I just went ahead and made a small tag. So use your old packaging is the point I'm making. Because those are ready to go now, and I'm excited to use them. I may put them in some of those traveler's notebooks. We'll just have to see. So I've been watching all kinds of videos of people doing things with paper and envelopes and everything. You can imagine they've been doing it. And I've had fun watching them. I've done a lot of them that I've seen, almost all of them actually, in a video or just in a journal or something. But I decided I wanted to show you how to do some of those things the way I do. Okay, so if I can remember where I saw it, I will tell you. Now, this is TaylorMade Journals wallpaper I'm going to be using today. Just so you know. And I'm going to have my trimmer right here. And we'll just make one of each thing if we have time to do them all. So the first thing I want to do is, and I didn't bring a journal to show you how it will look. Let me just get this little old book we just had. Well, I got to find it first. Here, I'll use this in my art journal. I'll show you in my art journal. I plan on doing the art journal thing, and I'm just behind on doing it. So this is my personal art journal. It's an altered book. As you can see, I altered it, but look how straight the spine is. Yeah, I made that happen. Yeah, and so it's possible if you do it ahead of time. And I covered the inside with the paper, and then the spine with this blue and black check and velvet trim. I really like how it turned out. And as you know, I did this collage. It's not part of the challenge, but I had fun. So let's open this up as if it's a regular journal. And I'm going to show you how this little ephemera I've got right here. This is how it looks with ephemera in it. And this is how it looks without ephemera in it. Okay, and it's double-sided. I don't have ephemera on both sides. But you're really only going to use one side because you're going to glue the other side down. So I'm going to show you. I'll take this ephemera out. This is where you use your tiny ephemera or your small little tags. Like this is a tag Tracy made, and I just put it down in there along with a little ticket. And, you can put 2 or 3 things in there. So this I saw from Craft With Me. I saw her do this, and she does it as a corner embellishment. So you can go up here and put it in your corner here which is probably here or here is the two places you have. And you don't glue the back of this down because you journal here, all right? And if you want to just glue here and here, it can also be a tuck up under here, okay? But if you want to glue the whole thing, then you can journal here, okay? And then you add your tags and everything in here. It's just super cute. You don't have to go crazy, but you know what I'm saying here, okay? Now, you also can use it on the lower corner down here. Okay, you can do it just like that. And that's going to make your tags be upside down. But you can have a tuck here, and you just want to make sure your pockets are full. Personally, I would only put it up here. But I think it's adorable. It's simple to make, and I'm going to show you how right now. So you can do it any size you want. So there's no real size. This little one is a 5 by 5 square when you start. Okay, 5 by 5. No, I'm sorry. It's 4 by 4. So if you want one this small, you can go smaller. You can go larger. This is what this one was. Okay. Now I'm going to fold that up and put it to the side. This one that I made was, I believe this is the 5 by 5. This is a 5 by 5. You want a perfect square, okay? And we're going to do the 5 by 5 so that you can see what it. Let's do a 4.5 by 4.5. Let's be different. So you just get your trimmer, and you want to get lightweight paper, like regular copy paper with your digital. Or you can use tea stained or whatever, but you don't want heavy cardstock to do these. Okay, so I'm going to cut that down at 4.5, and then I'm going to turn it and do 4.5 the other way. Even cutting with your trimmer, you can be off. Okay, I don't know how that happens, but it has happened with me on a few of my things I've made. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to fold this in half, okay? So I'm going to do it like this. Just fold it in half. You want to take and go to the point right here, but you also want to make sure it folds at the point down the middle here, okay? So you've got this fold. See, and then you're going to do it on the wrong side here. If you could print on both sides of your paper, it'd probably be nicer for you and easier. Okay, I had this already done. So you're going to bring it in, one corner in from the side, okay? And match those up in the center and crease them, okay? That's how easy this is. That's it, except we're going to flip it over and turn it up. Now, I want to correct something. I prefer to do, if I don't have this side tea stained, you want to fold from this, this other direction. Okay, I'm sorry. Fold into the side you want to show in the front of the project, okay? Okay, just like that. Because you can cover these much easier that way, okay? And then you're going to take it and fold the back up, leaving the right side to the outside. Make sure everything is even on all the sides. Okay. And there you go. Now, I wanted these covered, so I just used the same paper. And honestly, you can just take a corner like this. Okay. Mark it with your pencil. Right there. And right here. And you're going to make that a square with your trimmer, okay? So, I know it's hard for you to see this with all the junk on my table, but some things never change, right? That's one of them. You just have to have your junk on the table. Okay, so I'm taking the first line, cutting straight down, putting this piece to the side to use on the other side, and then now my second line is right here. So this ends up being, I think it ends up being a 2x2. Let me double check. No, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. So while I've got it out, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay, and I want that heart, that flower. So I'm going to do the 2x2, or 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. I think I just did that wrong. No, I didn't. Whew. I would have if I continued. Thank goodness I didn't. So you're going to move that to the side. Now, you're not going to need this whole piece, right? So we're going to do like this. Put the side on here that you think is the most decorative. All right. Now you can, if you want, fold this back onto your paper if you should decide you want to decorate back here. But I am just going to fold where I need to cut right there. And I'm just going to use my scissors. Cut straight. You want to make sure you're getting a nice straight cut. And really, you probably could use that piece for the other side. And then you're going to glue it right here. All right. So let's do that. Let me get my glue. You probably could fold it too, but I think it's easier to wait and fold it. That way you know you get it folded correctly and you don't end up with a bunch of creases. Okay. I think you could stitch this if you wanted to stitch it. You just have to be careful where you put your stitches. I personally think it'd be too busy with all the ephemera and the stitches in this instance. So there we go. Now let's see if this one will fit. If it does, there's no need in cutting the other one. So just cut one of those. See, I just learned something new myself. All right. Here we go. So, get that right there. So this is all we do to this. Right here, what you see. Now, if you wanted to, you could stitch around it at this point, or you could just stitch around it at this point, or not stitch around it at all. Okay, so we've got those, and now we know that this is the front, and we want to match it up. So we're going to crease these little pieces we just cut out so that they'll look better. Now, you don't have to cover these in the same paper. You might want to do them in a contrasting color so that you can notice them more. But what I'm doing is, after I fold them, I come back and ink that portion. Now, just so you know, too, you're going to lose the other side, depending on how you use it, okay? Just because we're going to glue it, or at least I'm going to glue it in the book corner. Okay, but you know, you can ink if you want or not ink. It's up to you. I've gotten to where I don't ink as much, especially with pastels, because I think it looks nicer. Okay, so there you go. We're going to put our tags in here, which turned out really, really, really cute, didn't it? Now you do end up covering up your, some of your things. Let's put this green over here so we don't have, and one of Tracy's tags. All of these are Tracy's, by the way. Here's another little flower by Tracy. Little tag by Tracy Fox. Okay, so there we go. We put it in the corner of our book. We're ready to journal. We pull it down, and we have all this journaling space in a unique fashion. So I hope you had fun making that. So you want to run out and make some. Remember, the measurements just need to be even. And yeah, and then you have that quick, you have these little pockets. So I plan on using these in a lot of my stuff, a lot of my projects. Okay, let's move on. Now, I saw Tina from Shabba Dabba Doodah make several of these things I'm showing you. Crafty Cat was those big envelopes. The pockets are just something I've done for a long time with the collaging on them. And I'm trying to put my pen back into my, there we go. Now, I was trying to make something that she made, and I'm going to show you that first before I make this one. And then I made a mistake and ended up making this one. So there's a lot of things you can do differently. Okay, so here is this paper right here. You want to turn it the right side down. You want to fold it in half. Isn't Tina such an inspiration? She just gets on there and knocks those things out. Doesn't use a trimmer. I'm so jealous, Tina, because I definitely have to use a trimmer. Now, I have to remember how much we fold in here. You want to fold in your paper here pretty close to the top there, okay? And then on this side as well. And you want to fold them on the other side in an equal fashion, same amount. Even them up with each other, so one's not shorter than the other. Yeah, and you want to leave the same amount of space. I'm trying not to leave too much space. I feel like if you do things even and straight as you can, you'll get better results on most things, if it's something that requires that. Now, I glued down these flaps. No, wait a minute. Not yet, I didn't. Let me think for a minute. Okay, so you've got the flaps folded down. You want to fold them down. And then you want to bring this back like this. And she glued across here, but she waited till she folded it. So she did like this, and she pushed it down and folded this side to the seam, okay? And this side to the seam. On both sides. Now this one needs to go over that one just a little bit so you can glue it. That's what I decided. You want to have a space that hangs over, kind of like if you were making a coin pocket. Now, when you put the glue on there, you want to put it on the side that's going to be underneath. But first, let's get these folded in on each other. So we're just going to fold in these corners. And I'm using a Uno glue stick, or Yoo-hoo, however you say it. I've heard it said both ways. So I just go with either one, whatever comes out my mouth that day. Okay. My hands are really have stuff all over them from piddling and doing different things today. Okay. Okay, there you go. Get all four sides down. I hope I'm showing you this correctly. I've made several, so you would think by now I would know. But I do have 3 that are real similar. And this is just using paper. You don't have to have an envelope. All of the things I'm showing you today are like that, okay? Just using copy paper with printing on it or no printing, however you want to do it. Okay, so now we know we have to fold this in like we had it, right? And one will lap over the other one a little bit. I think I just did that wrong. I did. Let me think for a second what I did wrong. Oh, I know what I did. Oh my, Paula. We'll just do it again. So I folded too many. Let me get down to the bottom. I know I have extra paper. Let me get it here. I piled a bunch of paper on top of each other, so it may be under something. There it is. Okay, let's do it in this yellow. Okay, Paula. And this is how I messed up the first time. I have made several, but you got to take into consideration I've been doing a lot of folding over the last few days. And then you fold into your line nice and straight. You want it straight. Okay. Okay. And then on this one, I'm going to bring it a little bit further over so that it can fold underneath. Not much, just enough to do a small line. Now, this is where we're stopping for a second. And I'm going to look in here. So this is how it's supposed to look, okay? So, what I did wrong was I folded them too big, as you can see. We'll do something with that. So you want to fold right here, okay? And you don't want to go over your line. So you want to stay inside that line. Okay, that's folded, that fold line. And the same here. Now, because I made one of these a little bit wider, you'll have a little bit wider triangle, but that's okay. I don't know if she did hers that way. Honestly, I've done them before, but it's been a long time. And so it's easy to get confused on folding. Okay. Flip it over. Fold this one in. Okay. Fold this one in. You always want to remember when you're folding or making something that folds that you don't get glue in places that it would ruin your project. Because, you know, we're always trying to find a pocket space somewhere. And this is no exception. I hope you guys had a good day. I know I already asked you that. It was so gloomy. Okay. Now, we're going to fold it in, and you're going to see here that this is going to be correct this time. Now, you can wait and glue this portion right here down after you glue something here. Now, I decided to glue something there just like Tina did, because I wanted it to have more than just the one color. So since we have this green, and green, oh, I don't know if I like that green with that. And I don't like the blue, so let's find something in my stack right here. I've got plenty of things that will go better. We'll just find something to... What I ended up doing was gluing just a piece of paper this far on both sides. You just want to measure from here to here to get this look. Okay. All right, let me get my paper. Oh, let's just go with this little green. That little green is pretty. Excuse me, I gotta take my jacket off. It suddenly has warmed up. Don't know what that's all about. If you wanted, you could just do like this and glue straight down in there. However, it is easy for you. Now, I'm just pulling out my trimmer right here, making sure of what my measurement is. And then I'm just going to cut straight down the paper. It is going to be 4 1/8. So, cut 4 1/8 right here. You might still have to, you know, cut little bits off. You just have to see. And then I'm just going to cut them 3 inches the other way. So, you know, we know they'll be down far enough. Why waste a bunch of glue, right? Okay, so there we go. We've got plenty of paper for that. Now, you can use regular glue. You can use a glue stick. But for the video, I'm going to use my little glue stick because I think it'll be faster. Now, you can put it here or on the actual little green piece. And again, the reason that I'm pointing that out is because you want to make sure you don't go down further than the 3 inches. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about because you can. So what I usually do is I usually put it on this little green sheet. Why I didn't, I don't know. But you decide what works best for you. Stay inside the fold even and put it even across the top so you don't have anything showing there. Now, if it's too big right here, which I got very lucky because it wasn't. Probably because I pulled it over a little bit too much to one side. You know, you just have to judge how you want to do that. Now, because I don't want glue stick out the edges, I'm going to glue these little edges just with a little bit of glitter glue. So it holds these down and things don't get snagged when you pull them in and out. Okay, and what did I do with my other one? There it is. Here we go again. So this time, let's do it, you know, like this. And that way we know, you know, we're getting it where we want it. But I don't want it coming out the bottom. Okay, so here we go. Stay inside the fold. Now, don't ask me how, but this one is a little bit wider. Just barely. So I'm just going to take a sliver off of there. Just a little sliver. Mostly want to get it correct at the top because that's going to show. There we go. Now fill around. Make sure there's no glue anywhere because I had to trash that one because of that. Now, we're going to fold the biggest side down. Make sure everything is nice and creased. And then this side down, nice and creased. And I'm going to run my glue across right here. So it doesn't get on the inside. Okay, only on one side. Then you're going to fold this one over. If you get glue here, if it seeps on this outside, it's not a big deal because we can, you know, make sure that doesn't stick to anything. But you always want to check the inside and make sure there's not glue in there. And I don't see any or feel any. Okay, so there we go. And of course, I didn't get the letters completely covered up, but that's not a big deal. Okay, so now we're going to fold this so that it can be like a, I'm about to do this wrong. Okay, now we're going to fold this like this. And we're going to end up bringing it down about that much. Okay? About 2 inches, 1.5 inches to 2 inches from the top. And that's leaving the pocket toward the outside on both. Okay? Now, these will be in the decorating stack after when I do the decorating. Because you want to decorate the fronts of these because it has that seam. So you want to make sure, you know, you have it nice and decorated. And you want this very tip to be glued down so you don't, you know, pull the thing apart when you're putting stuff in your pocket. Now, there we go. Now, what is going to happen with this is it's going to be put between 2 pages. And I'm going to demonstrate that with my art journal. But let me put this pen back in. Been having trouble with my glitter glue pen getting all clogged up. So I'm trying to be more careful. So this is the big side and this is the small side. So we're going to put it right here. And what you will do is slide it into your book on the single page, even though these are double paged, and pull it up like this. And so you can clip it, I wouldn't, or glue it. So what I do when I make these, and I have made them before, is bring them to the edge of the page, just like that, okay, on both sides. And I glue right here, okay, and right here. And I leave this open for a big tuck, and then I have this for a pocket on both sides. Pocket, big tuck. Now, you can do it like this, where you glue the top over here and glue the inside side. You have a pocket here or you have a pocket here. So either way is correct. So you can bring it back in this way, glue here, glue across the top, and then you have a pocket here and a pocket in the top. So yeah, I learned this from Tina at Shabba Dabba Doo Dah this week. So I just, I thought it was super fun. It's been so long. I wasn't smart enough to make an idea book. I have my idea book now. It's actually a box that I keep my things in so I don't forget what I make. So I've been making a lot of the things that I have done in my videos. But, yeah, so you don't stitch these or anything like that. You just use your glue. You can ink and all of that. So that's project number 2. Okay, now let's move on to what I do with the other ones. I'm trying to see if I'm keeping them together or not. Okay, now project number 3 was because I made a mistake on that same item. And I liked it. I liked it especially with this paper. But you can do it with any paper. If you look, you can see this border was right here. You can see that I ended up with a pocket right here. And behind here. You could do it inside, but I glued it together on the inside so it wouldn't get snagged, and did it just like that. And this will get glued down to your page, and you could do it the same way, tops, tucks, however you want to do it. I would personally just glue it on the 2 sides and the bottom, okay? So this is how I made this one. I did the very same thing that we did on the last one. except I didn't fold down corners, okay? So I bring this in all the way to the line, okay? Just like this, and one of them comes over just a tiny bit. Make sure it's even at the top and the bottom. Okay, now instead of folding those in, I went right ahead and glued them down on the smaller side. Make sure you glue where that will cover it and where you won't get it inside. Which really, it's not going to be that big a deal if you do, because we're going to not use that inside in this particular case. Now, because I really liked this band up here, I was like, oh, well, yay. And I folded it about the same height that she had said to do it, right here. And I didn't like the seam and it being the same color, so I went in and I added this avocado paper, which, as I can see right now, I don't have any on my desk. Sorry, didn't plan well enough, I guess. But you just glue a different color. In this case, I would probably do pink or white. And you glue it under here. And then you take your punch. And you punch just enough so people know. And I didn't want to punch out my little white part there either. Just make sure it's as even as you can get it. Or you can wait and punch. And I think that's what I'll do. Wait and punch this top one when this, I get the paper on here. And then you take it to your machine and you stitch straight down the side. And then you have this. And I think it turned out really great. And in this situation, you just glue it into your book. And that's the correct thing to do. So you just open your book. You can glue it in the middle or you can glue it to the side. However you like it. Okay? I think you could change up the sizes on that too if you wanted to. I don't find it necessary, but yeah. So that one will get stitched before we decorate and get its pink paper put on it as soon as I find some pink paper or avocado paper. So that is project number 3. Let me see how much time we've got. Oh, and that's where it ends for today, guys. So I hope you had fun with this video. I have, let's see how many more. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 more projects, so we have another video coming on that. And then we're going to move on to doing different things with bags. All right, guys, I hope you had fun today. I sure did. And thank you to all the bright people who come up with all these great ideas. I appreciate you as well. You guys hang in there, and I will see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe. And if you could like my channel for today, if you enjoyed the process, that will help me out a lot. All right, guys. See you in the next video. Bye now.